Alright, we're going to talk about setting up delegate access inside of your Microsoft Outlook client. We're demonstrating this on a Microsoft Outlook 2010 client. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go up to the top left where it says File. We're going to click it. Brings you to the screen. Click Account Settings. A little sub-menu pops up. Second option says Delegate Access. Click that. And for most of you, first time seeing this, it'll be blank. So the example of setting delegate access might be if you're an AA and you want to support your supervisor or manager's mailbox functions and you want to read their mail, or you need to work with their calendar entries. This is typically where you're going to do that from. So let's pretend that this is the supervisor's mailbox and we're going to add the AA assistant to it. So we're going to click Add, and let's just put in someone's name here. Okay, so we're going to add this person to be a delegate, and this is where we're going to control what level of access and what items they're going to be able to work with inside of the mailbox. For the example of calendars, obviously we're going to click the calendar entry. If you leave it on editor, you can see where it says can read, create, and modify items. And if you leave this checkbox checked, delegate receives copies. Basically that means if someone were to schedule a meeting with the supervisor, a copy automatically goes to the delegate so that they remain notified of it. The second most popular option is to allow them access to the inbox, and typically it's going to be reviewer or author. They can read and create, but they're not going to be able to delete things, so they're not going to be able to change something that the original or the supervisor has created. We're going to leave it on checked on none for the purpose of this. If we look down at the bottom, you got two options additionally that we can check. One, it's just a little summary message. So at the end of this, if we were to check this and click OK, the person that we added is going to get an email saying you've been added as a delegate. And the second option here is delegate can see my private items. Usually you're not going to check this. This would be on your calendar if you have things non-work related, like a doctor's appointment or something like that, and you don't want people to see the details of your message. All they're going to see is you have a private message or a private calendar appointment, whereas if you check this box, they're going to be able to see the details. They know that you're going to your doctor's office for whatever. So usually it's not going to be checked. So we're going to click OK, and we can see that this person is now listed as a delegate of myself, and we'll click OK. So that person is now going to be listed as a delegate. And if you want to remove them, it's pretty much the same process. We go to the File, click Account Settings, and Delegate Access. We see the person's name listed, and we're going to click Remove, so we can completely remove them out of here. You could also just click the Permissions tab, and it brings up the permissions that we set earlier, and you could edit, change, or modify them here. So essentially that's it with the how to add and remove delegates. I would also point out that for those of you that recently came from GroupWise, this is similar to your former proxy settings. So if you had someone that could see your mail, this is how you would do that. And the other thing I would recommend is not having delegates of delegates of delegates, and because that can start creating confusion within the email system. So I would try to limit it so that delegates really only go one level deep, and I would not have more than I would try to keep it no more than 5 people being delegates of a particular mailbox. If you have a need of people seeing mail for a group mailbox, the better way to do that is to send a service request in and have yourselves granted full access and or send as access, and that is going to allow you to see all the mail contents, work with the mail, do whatever you need to do with it, add or create it, and send mail as that account. So I would recommend you doing it that route. I'm going to go ahead and remove this person, and that concludes adding and removing delegates, and a brief overview of best practices for using a number of delegates and adding people for full and send as permissions for mailboxes that formerly might have been similar to a proxy permissions.